warm welcome to our special edition, the Question Hour show from the Parliament House complex, the show where we bring you important unstart questions asked by the members of the upper house during the historic 250th session or the last session of the Rajya Sabha and the response given by the government in written format. I'm Kriti Mishra and joining me is my colleague Rajat Kain.
Well, thanks for watching the edition of the show. Kriti, let's start the show.
And the first question in this edition is from two members, Mr. Devendra Paul Vats as well as Mr. Vijaypal Singh Tomar. And this question is to the Ministry of Labour and Employment. And the members have asked the government whether there's any proposal to set up Employment Commission in India to generate employment opportunities for our youth.
Well, replying to the query, the government said there is no proposal for setting up of an employment commission. Employment generation coupled with improving employability of the youth is a priority concern of the government. Government has taken various steps for generating employment in the country, like encouraging private sector of economy, fast-tracking various projects involving substantial investment and increasing public expenditure on schemes such as Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme, Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushalya Yojana, Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission. Now, Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana has been initiated by government inter alia for facilitating self-employment under PMMY, that is Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana. Collateral-free loans up to ₹10 lakh are extended to micro and small business enterprises and to individuals to enable them to set up or expand their business activities. Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana is a flagship scheme of the Ministry of Skills Development and Enterprises. The objective of skill certification scheme is to enable large number of Indian youth to take up industry-relevant skill training that will help them in securing a better livelihood. Moving on, the next question was asked by member Dharmapuri Srinivas and TG Venkatesh from Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And they asked whether government has taken note of predatory pricing being practiced by e-commerce companies.
Well, the government has given a very comprehensive reply to this question, and the government goes on to say that Press Note 3 of 2016 containing guidelines for FDI on e-commerce was issued on 29th March 2016. However, allegations were made against certain e-commerce companies that the marketplaces were violating the norms laid down by Press Note 3 of 2016. Press Note 2 of 2018 was issued by DPIIT on 26th of December 2018 to further provide clarification on FDI policy in relation to the e-commerce companies. Clause of Press Note 2 2018 stipulates that e-commerce entities providing marketplace will not directly or indirectly influence the sale price of goods and services and shall maintain the level playing field for all the players. The government further says that services should be provided by e-commerce marketplace entity or any other entity in which e-commerce marketplace entity has direct or indirect equity participation or common control to vendors on the platform at arm's length and in a fair and non-discriminatory manner. Such services will include but not be limited to fulfillment, logistics, warehousing, advertisement, marketing, payments and financing, etc. Cashback provided by group of companies of marketplace entity to buyers shall be fair and non-discriminatory. For the purposes of this clause, provision of services to any vendor on such terms which are not made available to other vendors in similar circumstances will be deemed unfair as well as discriminatory. And let's move on to the next question that has been asked by member Ashok Bajpai, and this one is to the Ministry of Tourism. And Mr. Bajpai has asked the government whether it plans to develop some world-class iconic tourist destinations in India to attract domestic as well as foreign tourists.
In the reply, the government said, pursuant to budget announcement of 2018 and 19, Ministry of Tourism has identified 17 sites in 12 clusters in the country for development as iconic tourist sites, namely Taj Mahal and Fatehpur Sikri in Uttar Pradesh, Ajanta and Ellora in Maharashtra, Humayun's Tomb, Red Fort and Qutub Minar in Delhi, Kolwa in Goa, Amer Fort in Rajasthan, Somnath and Dholavira in Gujarat, Khajuraho in Madhya Pradesh, Hampi in Karnataka, Mahabalipuram in Tamil Nadu, Kaziranga in Assam, Kumaramkom in Kerala and Mahabodhi Temple in Bihar. The ministry shall be developing the above sites in holistic manner with focus on issues concerning connectivity to the destination, better facilities and experience for tourists at the site, skill development, involvement of local community, promoting and branding and by bringing private investment. The development of iconic tourist side scheme is awaiting approval of Ministry of Finance. Well, moving on, next question was asked by member Ahmad Hassan from Ministry of Earth Sciences, and he sought to know whether the ministry has been a partner to the International Ocean Drilling Program in past years, and if so, what are the details of the same?
Well, the reply given by the government is in affirmative, and the government goes on to say that India is an associate member of an international consortium of 26 countries for scientific ocean drilling, named as International Ocean Discovery Program, or IODP. The IODP is an international marine research collaboration that explores Earth's history and dynamics using ocean-going research platforms to recover data recorded in seafloor sediments and rocks to monitor subsea floor environments. The National Centre for Polar and Ocean Research, called the NCPOR, Goa, an autonomous institution under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, has been designated as a nodal agency for looking after Indian activities pertaining to the scientific ocean drilling. As an exclusive scientific advantage of this Memorandum of Understanding between National Science Foundation, NSF, USA, as well as MOES, Indian scientists routinely practice in various IODP expeditions on board drilling platform throughout the world. The government further says that India joined this consortium through an MOU with National Science Foundation, USA, in the year 2008-9, which allows Indian scientists and researchers an exclusive access to the state-of-the-art scientific drilling platform, which also is GeoIDAS resolution. Ever since India joined this consortium, more than 40 scientists from various national research labs and universities across India have had the hands-on experience with science of ocean drilling, which is possible only through this consortium. Over several years, Indian scientists have participated in various IODP expeditions and have contributed significantly to marine science research and discovery, including publications in high-impact, peer-reviewed top international journals such as Science and Nature. And let's move on to the last question of this edition of Question Hour, and has been asked by member R. Vethalingam, and this question is to the Ministry of Minority Affairs. And the member has asked the government whether it is a fact that it has expanded development programs for the minorities in 308 districts of India.
For replying in affirmative, the ministry said yes, the Ministry of Minority Affairs has implemented Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram, earlier known as Multi-Sector Development Program, a centrally sponsored scheme in identified minority concentration areas of the country with the objective of developing the socio-economic assets and basic amenities in these areas to bring them at par with other parts of the country. Under the erstwhile MSDP, the area covered was 710 minority concentration blocks and 66 minority concentration towns. The MSDP was restructured in May 2018 and is now implemented as Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram. In the restructured Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram, the coverage of area was extended to 1,300 minority concentration areas in the 108 districts, which include 870 minority concentration blocks, 321 minority concentration towns, and 109 minority concentration district headquarters. The thrust of the Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram program is to allocate at least 80% of resources for education, health and skill development, and at least 33 to 40% of the resources for women-centric projects. Projects like degree colleges, hostels, industrial training institutes, residential schools, working women hostels, toilets in girls' schools, smart classes equipments have been sanctioned for girls and women. Further, other projects implemented under Pradhan Mantri Jan Vikas Karyakram also caters to requirement of women and girl beneficiaries. The details of projects sanctioned under this program are available in the official website of the ministry.
Well, Rajat, these were the important questions and answers in this edition of Question Hour. But on the other side, we'll have Prashn Kal in Hindi with our colleagues Arvind Singh and Kriti Singh. Don't go anywhere.